Talk some M Night.
Man, I don't know what happened to my name. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to a GeekVerse review on the anime. How did what? That's what is it? A comma quotation? What is that? A semicolon, right?
Yeah, that would
What
be a
sound does a
semicolon.
semicolon make? I don't know if
I
that's a sound,
That's a
right?
tough question. I don't think
Yeah,
I've
I'm
ever been
gonna
asked
fix
that.
that. But I'm supposed to be in honor of Dave Bautista, the animal, and I'm joined by.
I am Malice in honor of, I guess, Rupert Grint,
Oh,
Kirklin Batzer.
there you go. So we're big sexist. No nicknames with the female characters, but that's okay. But no, ladies and gentlemen, we are here to talk about M. Night Shyamalan's Knock at the Cabin. As usual, we'll give our non-spoiler thoughts, and then we'll give you a little warning because maybe you've been burned by M. Night. You don't know if you want to see it. Maybe you don't care. Maybe that's how burned you are. Maybe you're like, I don't care. I'm just like, I'll listen to the whole thing. I don't know. So we'll find out. Everything you need to know is down below. Everything we didn't go back a couple days ago. We just did a massive 2.5 hour plus breakdown of all the DC stuff. Will Dave Bautista be there? I don't know, but we talked about it. We talked about a bunch of stuff, and yeah, next few weeks it's getting on heavy. Like this last week is kind of calm before the storm, but we got the movie draft coming up. We have You season 3 coming up. We got Hogwarts Legacy. Kirklin has exams that I hope they're all gonna go well for. Just a bunch of stuff. So, and Super Bowl and Last of Us. There's gonna be a Sunday. I haven't figured out what I'm gonna do because Super Bowl and Last of Us are on at the same time, so I think I'm gonna have to double TV it and have them going at the
Ooh.
same time. It's awful. I forgot about the only thing about Sunday games or Sunday shows. There's a lot of high quality sports on sometimes. So, oh
Sunday's a
yeah,
big day, man.
it
Sometimes they get
is
doubled up. I
big
guess
month for
that's the
Geekverse.
Rihanna show too, isn't it?
That is well, no, it's the Super Bowl and Rihanna sings at it, not the Rihanna show. Yeah, first they keep saying that's like first time in 6,822 days and stuff like that. It's like, man, Jesus, I think it's the second coming of Christ. But you know what? Speaking of Christ, let's talk about this movie. Oh, actually, best way, go to Patreon, support us there. If you like everything this weekend as well for the patrons, if you're at the Phase 2 tier and higher, you're going to be getting the next episode of the X-Men Retrospective. So it's the first half of Season 2. We're going to be finishing off the trilogy of John Wick, Chapter 3, Parabellum, and then we'll be recording our first retrospective for Evil Dead, the very first one from 1981 all the way back. So yeah, just a wide range of different things we're covering this weekend, but for patrons, you get that nice ad-free and early, and lots of exclusives up there. Soon and After 9 will happening. I'm sure there's going to be originals and that, but lots of things popping off, and a big thank you to our Patreon producers, Aaron Brain, April Darkness, Joshua Wright at that tip-top tier. Thank you as always. There will be soon in March, you guys will be voting on. We're going to do an Oscar retrospective where we're going to have a poll, and a film has to have been nominated for Best Picture in honor of the Oscars. So it has to have a Best Picture nominee. And then as a producer, you get to literally produce the content we do. And a big thank you to all the other patrons. A big thank you to everyone else that downloads and listens to this. Kirkland Patzer. So last time we were in this situation was, I guess it was a couple years ago now, same around this time, January, February, same situation, begin the year, M. Night Shyamalan movie, just you and me talking about this. Now, that time it was coming off of Glass. I personally really loved Glass. I can't remember because I don't think you were on the review. How did you feel about Glass? Or
I've
did you
never
ever see
even seen
Glass?
Glass, no, because I've only seen Split amongst that trilogy,
Oh,
right?
so
It's
not
three
Unbreakable
movies.
or Glass. Yeah, you've
I
seen the
haven't
middle
seen
portion.
Unbreakable. Yeah,
Yeah.
good, good,
That's the way
good
to do it.
period to jump in.
Yeah. Well, there you go. One day you'll get his thoughts on that. But you can go get his thoughts on Old. Me and him both were, recovering. So we have to see, okay, how's M. Night going to do? I liked Split a lot. I loved Glass, and Old was a big shot to the gut. So Kirkland Patzer, was this did he hit you with the right hook a couple years ago? Did he hit you with the left hook? Or did he brush you off and say it's going to be okay?
It's funny that you mentioned that. Like, this is, I mean, yeah, I blanked out a lot of that movie Old from my
Mm-hmm.
memory, and it's funny you just said like it came out in a similar period 2 years ago now in 2019 that release was, and it feels like 6 years ago for some reason
Oh, yeah.
in my mind, like how far away that movie was. I don't remember much of it, but yeah, that definitely left the M. Night name pretty sour in my mouth. But he's got some good things in there for
Mm-hmm.
sure, like you mentioned. And coming into this one, I thought the trailer was very interesting. I apparently this is following a book or something like
Yeah, I
that.
think it's like a
And
short story or something, which I stayed away from because I didn't want to know anything. So.
yeah, and like watching the movie, I can totally understand like it being pulled from that type of source material, because I think it definitely has a lot of interesting concepts that it's tackling. I think, however, for me, like it's nothing that's like brand new. I feel like I've seen this story done a couple different ways in the past. You know, we'll get into that in spoilers, but overall, like I still think it was entertaining enough until maybe like later on in the film when I kind of realized what was going on and saw the trajectory that our characters were kind of going on. I feel like I might have lost a bit of interest there, but it definitely had some fun suspenseful moments, and I think like I think the set piece was really interesting too, like being at that cabin. It was just very, I don't know, like the color palette of the inside and everything. Just the interior design was really pleasant on the eyes, and to have some intense moments in there, some different types of moments in there was good to have for sure. Um, and man, Dave Batista, I feel like he was like the highlight for me. He was very good in this movie because it's a different type of performance that I've ever seen him do. He's a very strange character from I guess what I'm used to seeing from Dave Batista. But yeah, like all in all, I think this was definitely a step up from the old. But at the end of the day, I feel like I don't know. I'm not really itching to rewatch this movie. Because I know the story and what happens on it. I still think that there's a couple things I was a little bit unclear on, and maybe you can help me clear some of those things up when we jump into spoilers. But I feel like maybe that would be the only reason I'd want to revisit this, is just to get a better understanding of something that I might have missed. But yeah, it's an interesting concept, but nothing that I don't think is like too brand new. What
Yeah,
about you?
so I think I don't know where I am on this one because I like honestly, it's it's easy to say right now, but top choice for Golden Geeks 2024 right now, like, and I walked away being like, okay, it's good to already have a contender because I think I liked it more than you, but I don't think your points are wrong. I don't know when I'd watch this again. I think the reasons I would only watch this again is probably for purely the performances, probably for Batista and definitely Jonathan Gruff too. Jonathan Gruff, man,
Yeah.
like he's very underrated from this to Mindhunter. I loved to he was great in The Matrix when he had to be like the new Mr. Smith. Like that guy, I feel like he just doesn't get talked about enough as like a really. So I'm gonna try to talk him up a bit more of guys I'd like to see in things. I just feel like he just kind of always blends in. He's in Frozen, obviously, just making a bunch of bank there. But yeah, so it's one of these that other than maybe the middle portion, I really don't have any cons. But it's the best way to say it. Like I don't feel like it's a 10 for me, but like I don't really have any cons. Like there's nothing I thought was done poorly. And maybe when we talk about okay that way, but like it's acted well. There's some good shots. I think it's almost a perfect runtime. Like I think that like
Yeah.
hour 40. I think that does it well. I think they do a good job of hey, the mystery, you've seen the trailers. It is these four people show up with a family and they say, hey, one of you have to sacrifice one of yourselves or the world's going to end, right? And it's that moral dilemma of what you're going to do and everything like that. And I think they, right away from the trailer, Jesus Louise, right away from the trailer, they're making it seem like, okay, is this real? Is this not real? And I think that the movie did a really good job of kind of going, maybe you're right to a certain point, but giving you case A and case B. And I really enjoyed that. I thought they did it very well. I thought there was fun little twists and turns. I think it probably is one of his better films, just like well made. And I think it's one of these that probably for the best is a bit safer. It's a bit more straightforward of a Shyamalan film, but I really enjoyed it. It's one that I think I probably will watch again because Emily didn't see it with me. So I'll probably will watch it with her because I liked enough at that point. And it's one that I would probably go like in a few years, like, oh, I actually really enjoyed that and put it on again. It's just because the performances, I think that's the biggest thing. Because yeah, it's nothing that has been done before. It kind of feels similar to like a anthology show where it's like, okay, this is just one episode with some actors, but I think they definitely M Night hit on the like. There's some, especially I'd say the first half. It's very intense. It's very on the edge of your seat, like nail biting stuff like what's gonna happen. There's some really cool shots in here too that they do at the camera
Yeah.
that are just like really weird and everything like that. So and yeah, Batista, he's just fantastic. Like he just plays this great Dawson. I know people might go, oh, it's just him being quiet, but it's not like just from the even opening scene of the movie. Which is why the opening scene, it's just like he grabs your attention. He's come so far. Like we've seen so many variations. He probably would have and he's asked these people very nice for some things and everything like that. He probably should have asked in like a different way.
I'm in control here, and you're gonna give me what I want. You know what it is. Give me what I want. You know what I want. I've been asking for it for years. You're gonna give me what I want, or I'm gonna continue to hurt people you love.
And that is a knock at the door, pretty much. Hey, it's
That
only
could
two of
fit
us.
in
You don't.
so well.
Oh yeah, it's only two of us. You don't gotta do separate tracks. Like that's the movie right there. But no, like I said, I really really enjoyed it, and it's one that I hope. Not hope. I don't want to be like not a nominee next year, but I like right now it's up there, and I hope that means if it's not up there, it's like last year we get a lot of great movies. But I don't know. It's I'm interested again to spoilers, but I recommend it if you're a fan of Shyamalan's work, if you're a fan of horror. Like I don't think you'd be disappointed. I don't think it's one of those that there's gonna be something in the last 15 to 20 minutes that happens that you're like fuck
Yeah.
this movie. You know, like I don't think it's that. I think there is reveals, but like they all kind of. And I think that's maybe the difference with Shyamalan. It's like you're expecting something crazy, and the reveal is like, okay, this seems like a logical reveal and stuff like that, or
Yeah.
seems like something we were working up to. And there's other movies I would compare it to, but I think I'll wait till spoilers because I think that would maybe tip the cap of what this movie
Yeah.
might be. So
And I like what you mentioned about like the pacing of the movie, because it very much felt like I was waiting to find out more, and then when I did, it was like spaced out enough from maybe some other reveals that happened early on in the movie or whatnot. So it like it had me interested enough to where like it wasn't halfway through the movie and I'm like, okay, I'm done with this. I know what's happening. I'm completely done with the movie because I still wanted to know how it was gonna ended. How it was gonna end.
How it was gonna
Oh my
end
gosh,
it.
long day.
yeah,
But yeah, like and again, so it was nice to have like a fun thriller type M Night experience, because yeah, old man, that did some damage to me. So
oh yeah, and I think like in a no like it's a minor spoiler, but they use flashbacks in here. When the first one happened, it's like, oh no, what they're gonna happen is we're gonna get the stuff at the cabin, and to like fill the runtime, we're gonna get like a bunch of these. And for me, I think almost all of them worked for the story as far as towards the characters or towards like motivations of like the mystery and stuff like that. I didn't feel anything like, and I didn't feel like they were very long. But when we got the first one, oh no, here we go. We're gonna jump back to the beginning of the film. Like, look what happens 3 weeks ago, and that just fills like 15 minutes. Like, okay, because the concept you can't spread it out. But no, I think it's a good runtime. I like the flashbacks and stuff. So, what about you? Would you recommend this to people?
yeah, I would.
What do you recommend in theaters though? That's the thing. Or is this like a you could
Um,
wait for home?
I don't think you need to see this in theaters. I don't think there's anything like too big picture, I don't know, attention grabbing where like you need to have the big effects. Like, you know, it's no Top Gun Maverick or anything where
No.
you got to be strapped in those nice expensive seats. But
Hopefully, Shyamalan directs the third. You know.
yeah, maybe. But you know, like I think if you check out the trailer and if you're interested enough by that, then yeah, definitely give this a watch when it eventually comes on streaming or whatnot.
Yeah. Well, there we go. So if you've not seen the movie or you do not want to be spoiled, now's your time to bounce out. We'll take our first ad break, and then we're going to get into a knock at the cabin. So we'll be right back. And we're back. So yeah, well, as always, where do you? I'll start at the beginning because I'll start with just Mr. Batista because I don't know about the film, but I feel pretty strongly that I feel like next year we'll be talking about him and Golden Geeks and for that and stuff. Sucks because I feel like I'm gonna try and make a case for him in lead actor because he's listed as a lead actor even though he's an antagonist in this film. But no, he just brings it. I love that scene with the girl of just like him, especially it makes sense later when they explain he's a teacher, but he's just trying to be very warming. She already knows there's like a stranger danger, but he's doing a good job of just trying to level with her. And that's actually one thing I really appreciate with the movie is we got flashbacks, sure, but we got like right into it, like right away. There wasn't like a like that moment when they flash back, and I think it worked when they show the two dads and the daughter and they're singing and they're having a good time and stuff like that. I thought for sure the first 20 minutes of the movie was going to be that where it's like, oh, get the gas, and there was some back and forth and some banter, which can be fine, but like I didn't need that personally, and I think the flashbacks later on work. So I love how we got right into it. I love the introduction of Batista's character, and just that like, and I knew because I saw the trailer, but just like the general, just like looking, and like even then I was like, okay, is there something else other than these people coming? And but I thought the opening just got me right in. The invasion was completely scary and creepy. Of just like, especially this place has all like these just doors with glass. It's like there's nothing you can do. This is like worst case scenario and stuff like that. It's classic as far as like, oh hey, we cut the phone lines and stuff like they get through that all right away. So I liked the beginning scene, the setup, everything of like get the movie going.
Yeah, if they didn't show like the four intruders like doing what they were doing in the trailers, I think it really would have hurt the movie if like you laid out like they had that flashback scene in the beginning of the movie where
Yeah.
you don't even see Leonard till like 20 minutes in. Like it would just be so, I think, boring up until that point because you know what's gonna happen. So yeah, the movie just starts. It's Wen, I think was her name, and then Leonard just approaches and like right from the get go, like he is very I guess nice. He definitely has creepy vibes because it's just like, why the fuck are you out here in the middle of the wilderness?
Yeah,
But
just like this.
but everything
like-
that comes out of his mouth, he's like very kind and warming, and like you said, like he is a teacher, so you can definitely see those qualities in him. But just from like him like looking over his shoulder and just being very like just dodging questions when she's like, why are you out here, like all of that stuff was it had like the hairs the back of my neck like raised, and it's just like, what is gonna be coming here? And then yeah, when you see the other ones just showing up with their weapons, like
They're tools,
I
Kirkland. They're tools.
yeah,
They're
right,
not
right. They're
weapons.
tools. I'm curious, like what time, like in the movie that was like, was that 15 minutes? You think when they're like like shaking down the door, like less than I feel.
Like how long it took to get in?
Yeah,
5
from
minutes.
When,
5
yeah,
minutes
it was
clean.
it was so
Yeah.
fast. So right from the get go, yeah, I was in it and like just couldn't wait to find out why they were there and what was going on.
Yeah, and I like I said, I liked the break, and that was good. I liked them trying to talk their way in of just like, again, Batista's like, we're having this conversation behind a door, and I don't think it's going the greatest and stuff like that. But if we were to talk face to face, like it's all the red flags you'd hear from anybody. Like they're trying to be inviting, but they're absolutely not. And then yeah, they break down and they get this family tied up. And again, because I wasn't sure with the whole sacrifice thing if it was going to be like they could choose to sacrifice something. So you're like, okay, what's going to happen to this family? Like it's not going good. They get tied up and stuff like that. Rupert Grint is like playing this type of like, I don't know, overly asshole type of character and stuff like that. So he's just always wanting to get in a fight. He just gets his ass kicked though from the dad and everything. And then you got a nurse, and then you got, and I'll pull up their names at IMDb before someone stars me. Like, you just saw the movie and you didn't know their names? No, I don't fucking know the names. Do you remember their names when you just meet somebody and then you walk away? If they do, great for you. But and then there's a nurse there.
Sabrina,
there's-
that was her name.
Who?
Sabrina was the nurse.
Sabrina. Who was the cook's name?
Adrian.
There you go.
I got my list
Yeah.
right here. I didn't remember them.
And in this like struggle, this is another thing I really liked is Jonathan Groff's character, Eric. He falls and hits his head and he gets concussed. And that's what I like. This was the start of the what is real and what's not, because they start making their points and talking to him. And like, I'm jumping forward a little bit, but just some points to make is like, he's starting to buy into it, and then he'll like slip out of it and not buy into it. And you don't know if that's like realistically him buying into it, or you don't know if that's because he's
Right.
concussed and stuff like that. Batista will make these points about these tsunamis, and then the guy's like, this happened 4 hours ago before they got there. But Batista, what the hell, Leonard said, oh, it's going to start when one of us kill each other, which we'll get into. And I love when they go to the news even says like, oh, this has been expected for years and stuff like that. So they set up of like, okay, it could be this like act of God, or it could just be like, for years scientists have said at some point there's going to be a tsunami here, and now there's a tsunami there. So I felt at the beginning they were doing lots of good things of like, the other guy, what was the other guy's name? Andrew. Yeah, he's a lawyer. He's been like, he sees the worst in people. He's just breaking down their arguments, their cases, and everything like that. They have this one flashback where they got attacked at a bar, and it ends up being Rupert Grint, and that's true. I like that. At first I thought, oh, is Andrew lying about that just to like turn around? And no, when he gets to the wall, which we'll get to later, he has the name. So I really liked the first act as far as Batista lays out this case, and then the stuff starts happening exactly how he describes it, but then there's all these ways to take it down. My one con about it is like, I have to like, it's just a little negative thing. I don't think it would take it down massive points, but enough that I rolled my eyes. So they're talking about these tsunamis, and like, and we just got this footage in. And they show this guy, handheld cam, he's on the beach, and he's filming the tsunami. They start to run one, he keeps fucking going back to the tsunami. Why? I don't understand. And I'm like, okay, clear the tsunami's gonna miss him, and he'll get to shore, and that's all right, because this is how they get the footage. This water fucking swallows him and the camera up, and the news anchor literally said, we just got this footage minutes ago. How would they have got, I guess I guess that's it. I guess he was live streaming it, I guess. We're in that day and age now that he probably was like
You can
live
make that
streaming somewhere.
argument.
Yeah, but they were making it seem like it was video footage, and this guy got fucking gulfed up like at the YMCA in the wave pool and stuff like that. But that barring aside being a little cheesy, I love the act of the laid out what's everything happened, and then
Yeah.
the well, actually, it might not be, and you guys might just be fucking with us, or you're crazy, you know?
Yeah, I think that was like the highlight for me, was questioning whether this is real or whether it is just these people are completely fucked, or it is like some suicide cult. And
Yeah.
like the whole mystery aspect to it, and then like the performance of the characters, because they seemed very strange, obviously, because they're just there and want to talk and then lay out this like crazy way to avoid the apocalypse, but then like they just act very human with like the way that they're like emotional, and it's just like, no, you got to do this, like I don't want to die, and like they get really expressive where it's like, holy shit, like maybe this is real. And the fact that you have the variable of Eric, who like is concussed, so it's like he keeps flip-flopping from like believing them
My mind's
to
clear. My
not.
mind's clear. It's like just a
Yeah.
second ago you were like, I saw a man in the mirror behind Leonard, and like literally 5 seconds later, my mind's clear. It's clear. It's like
Yeah.
and then Andrew's even like, you talk to me now. Don't talk to him, because he just like feels like his husband's slipping and stuff like that.
And just like the pace that things are happening, like it seemed like there's not a lot of time between
No.
like the sacrifices.
Less than 2 days.
Yeah,
The first
it's-
one, because the first one happens, and then they do, I guess, sleep one night. But then it's like they like bankroll, like they loaded up, like they're supposed to do 4 over the 2 days, but they just did 1 on the first day, and then they waited to like the last hour on the second day, like because Batista's like,
bang bang bang. Yeah.
yeah, he's like, I can't ask nicely, I gotta ask it now. What's your decision? And then they just fucking go for it, you know?
Yeah. So like all that chaos and just like the tension of the moment, it like I said, like I'm trying to decipher what's going on, but like the pace of the movie is answering those questions, but still leaving a lot of stuff out. So like that portion was really really fun for me, and I mean we'll get to it, but I feel like when it is like affirmed, like like this is actually happening, the planes are falling from the sky and all that stuff, and it's just like, holy shit, like the apocalypse is actually here. I think that's when it's just like, okay, like this is actually what's happening. And I think I just found it a little bit, I don't know, less enjoyable, because it was the mystery of what it could be was just so fascinating to me. And it's just like, okay, no, this is just an apocalyptic thing. And that's where I was getting like comparisons to like Cabin in the Woods, even, where like they have to prevent the apocalypse by like sacrificing these souls, and then they don't, and then the world actually ends. And it was just like, oh, okay. I don't know. I think I was just comparing the two, which, it's my own thing that maybe is bringing my enjoyment down a bit on it. But yeah, definitely the peak for me was that early portion.
Yeah, you're right about Cabin in the Woods. The other 2 movies I thought, did you ever see Ready or Not with Samara Weaving?
No, it's on my list.
There's
I
a
asked
very
Shay to watch it when
similar
she
cult
said
thing
no.
to that. Yeah, and then there's another movie called oh my god, why am I forgetting it? It's Colin Farrell and Barry Keoghan. Killing a Sacred Deer. He does the same thing where it's like, you guys gotta, I won't give the whole plot away. The story happens in the first 50 minutes, so it's like you have to kill one of your family members or yourself, and you guys gotta decide. And it's like him, Nicole Kidman, and 2 kids, and it's like you gotta figure it out. And Barry Keoghan's just very like, same thing, calm, cool, collected about it and stuff. Very good movie. Good, same thing, good performances, but not a movie I've really watched again, because that one's more actually fucked up. That one, the last act. But I think because it's like, I guess we'll get to the end, but I think like where I don't mind it, because like I like it, and like they do reveal it. I think what I wish they did, because even then, so like they have the tsunamis, right? They explain that away. They talk about like whatever that, like it's a COVID like virus. They pretty much, it's called like X93 or X39 or something like that. But then Eric's like, or Andrew's like, well, I saw this happened weeks ago. Like this happened before. Yeah. Like, so like this we didn't cause this. And he's like, it's not even fucking live. It's like a replay of the news. And then that's when he starts breaking down like Rupert Grint's character in the forums. Like, because they do show Batista. It feels like for a split second, he's like, fuck, am I crazy? Like, did I just ruin everything? But then he's like, no. Like, when he's like, let's see his wall, he's like, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. That won't help anything. But for a split second, like, I like almost each character has a moment that other than Rupert Grint, because he doesn't last that long. The other three, I feel like they all get even if it's a minute or two of their questioning, is this the right thing? And you should be, right? When you are killing these 4 random people you've met as sacrifices and asking these 3 people to kill one another, it should be fucking crazy. And I think that's a good thing with the main leads, especially Andrew, like that it should be crazy. And I think so they do this thing where, okay, so you got the tsunamis and they set that up, that could happen. And then the pandemic thing, where it's like, okay, that could happen, that happened weeks ago, stuff like that. I wish, and maybe this is the way the short story is, but that's why you could adapt it. I wish the third thing wasn't just so as serious as planes are just falling out of the sky. Like, I wish it was another debatable, and actually I wish all the events were debatable, because I wish they would stop. And it's one of these things, like, you would never know, like, did you stop the apocalypse from happening, or was it just a coincidental bad day? Because the plane's fine, because Andrew's trying, like, oh, it's a terrorist attack. Once we get to the fourth thing, where it's literally just like, it just looks like hell is starting to take over. It's like, okay, this is the thing. So that's my only critique. I wish that all 4 of the things were very realistic, because you wouldn't know in that whole life, your whole life, you'd be thinking of like, well, did I stop that, or were those people just fucking crazy and it didn't matter? Like, but it felt like, no, we did the right thing, which is fine. It still works as like a journey as far as these characters. He had to kill his fucking husband. Like, it's not a great thing and everything like that. But that's kind of wish that they were. I wish it still teetered a little bit more, but it did just get very, this is the end, apocalyptic near the end, you know?
Yeah, I agree, because I think that thought kind of bounced in my head while it was going on, that like if this goes the route that this is just a hoax and these people are just completely crazy, but then you still go to the extent that they fooled these guys, and like, Andrew still killed Eric, but then like it is revealed that it was just a hoax. Like, I feel like that is just such a crazier ending than like the apocalypse was actually happening.
I thought we were going that way when Batiste was hiding in the washroom, because he like, oh, I hated that portion of the movie. So like, at this point, Rupert Grint, fun little performance. I think the only reason he's in this, I've never watched it. There's, I think, a show called Serve on Apple Plus that Shyamalan produces, and he's in it. Some possession thing. So they're like kind of tied. But anyway, so that happens, right? And then we got the cook, that happens. And I like her pitch, like, hey, I'm next. You should do it because I got a son and everything. And I like that. They held
a little bit more desperate. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. They held the son back, revealed to the end of like, same thing. You don't know if she's just bullshitting or not. And then I'm getting to the middle portion, because that'll explain where I get back to Batiste and why I was like, oh shit, like they actually are just fucking crazy. But so there's a portion where it's very cool and intense, where they're going to kill are they gonna kill someone again? Yeah, I guess they kill her like right when it happens. But as they're killing, it was Andrea, you said?
Adrian.
Jonathan Gruff has a knife that his daughter got him, so he's working on that. Andrew's hands are almost out of the bind. So it's this great scene of a flashback between like, the Batista, the 4 horsemen, because that's just what they are. The second they show up, okay, they're the 4 horsemen. We just covered this in X-Men. Thank God they weren't looking like that. But so you got the 4 horsemen, you got the victim, you got the daughter screaming about the show, because that was the sign, like, distract them about, just scream about the show. You got Gruff cutting that, you got him trying to get out. Very great. Like, all the camera work, it's very intense. I love all that. And they get out, and now it's just Batista and Sabrina. Sabrina was her name, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's those 2. They're the only ones left. They're trying to calm down the girl. This whole sequence of events. So I get it, because he was tied down, so his legs would probably be numb. But Andrew also gets out of the chair. In the corner, there's the daughter and Jonathan Gruff. They're like, just get away from us. And they're trying to calm them down. Andrew just gets up, just like he's at a party, just gets up and just like walks out. He closes the door behind him. He's just like gingerly getting in his car. I get it, because I bet in real life, yes, his legs would be pins and needles. It was just the way they shot it. And this is where I come down. Maybe you say I'm not a good person, whatever. So he gets to the car. He has the car keys. He's like opening up. It does not feel like there's much urgency here, but whatever. He's opening up. Sabrina comes with this fucking like pickaxe thing, stabs him in the foot, and then he throws dirt in her eye, gets in the car. And I like that he locked the car. And then what they set up in the earlier movie, that there's a gun in his safe, which I like later on in the flashbacks. They show why he got a gun, because he was attacked and because he was gay and stuff like that. So he felt like he was in danger, wanting to protect him and his husband. So I like that tying to the gun. But they get to the safe. It's, of course, a struggle. He's trying to open up. Sabrina's just stabbing him in the fucking side. Now, again, you can say yeah. You can say I'm a terrible person, but they have executed 2 people and are holding my family at whatever gunpoint, weapons and stuff like that. And what happens is he gets a gun and he just shoots like a warning shot by her head. There's this whole sequence I did not like. One, to me, I just did not find most of believable. There's no fucking way if Gwen, Logan, Ellie, and Emily are tied up. We've been tied up for a day and a half. I have a gun dead to right this person. And Andrew, in this moment, he doesn't think that the apocalypse is happening, remember? He's still fully on, fuck, these people are crazy. Firing a warning shot, and then later on when it's so frustrating. They get back to the house, they have Batista, and their idea is like, hey, I'm not a murderer like you. Like, I don't want to kill you, but you're going to lock yourself in that bathroom. And this is just movies all around, but I hate when they start to act like dumb horror movie characters. Why would you not even fucking kneecap this man? Why would you? And I laugh because the second Batista gets the gun, he's like, I'll kneecap you if you run. It's like, right away. Right? And so that whole sequence, and my last point about it that really bugged me is, so when they got in the house, they got Batista. Of course, they're not shooting any of these people. They're just going to let this fucking 6'5", 300-pound man get a chance to escape. What happens? Sabrina comes running back, and like, why is she screaming? I don't know. She's like, ah, and
the
then
light
like,
is mine.
yeah, and he shoots her anyways. So it's like that whole, and it's not even that long. It's like maybe 5. I don't even think it's 10 minutes the whole sequence. But that sequence, I just felt the number system keep going down and down and down for me and stuff like that. And I thought it was clever that Batista broke the window and he was really high in the bathroom. But my point where we finally got to the end of this story is when he put Andrew down and Batista had the gun and he was like threatening him. I'm like, this seems odd. Like, why is he threatening him with the gun? Because he doesn't want to hurt these people. But then he puts the gun away. Like, well, I'm not going to kill you guys. Like, I might kneecap you, but like, it's just like, let's get to it. So that sequence, it lost me for a little bit. It did get me back, but it just felt like people all around just acting very dumb for just plot things to happen.
Yeah.
You know?
No, yeah, that's completely fair because I felt like, yeah, the gun was alluded to early on in the film, so I knew we were getting to it. Then when we got to it, I was surprised that he just was able to like. I thought he was maybe gonna load like one bullet, and that was gonna be what kind of like handicaps him and like why he can't just pop off on these people. But no, he like loaded a full clip or whatever it was.
He's
and then,
ready to drop in Warzone right now. That's how many bullets he had in that little safe thing. Jeez.
So yeah, he got like his ammo refill, and then I was like, man, this is gonna change like a lot of things in the movie. But like you just said, it's like these 2 remaining horsemen are just immune to like guns, so much so that he won't even pull the trigger. And this is the person that's like the most extreme to the point that he's like really willing to kill these people. And yeah, it was just. It was pretty much like fluff. I definitely found it hilarious when he just like snuck out of the house. He's like, all right, see you later, Wen and Eric. I'll come back later.
Just anticlimax. It just, and like even him closing the door behind him, like, just dude, run, just run. Like, why? I get what they're trying to go for, but I really think because it didn't make much of a difference. I guess you could say try to add some intensity to it, because for me the scene didn't work. I think they should have just took the gun out in total, because it didn't get us anywhere, the gun. And that was another thing that pissed me off too. So he shoots Sabrina, but it has to be a sacrifice. So again, Batista's like, will you sacrifice yourself? They all say no. He has to like hit her with this like fucking pitchfork or whatever. And then they have Andrew walk out. He's walking out of the door and he's like, just yell if Leonard does something. He's leaving his husband and his daughter with this man again. He's like, yell if he does something, because he's just obsessed. He has to check this guy's wallet, and he throws the wallet. And he's right. It is the guy that attacked him in the movie. And that's where like it kind of fucks Batista and his crew, because it's like, okay, you're saying there's apocalypse. You're saying you're here just out of like free, like some visions. But I also thought this guy that attacked me at a bar. That's a coincidental. But I just laughed so much when he left his family in the room. This man had access to, he just used a pitchfork to like stab this woman. He's just like, yeah, yell if Leonard does anything. Fuck that. Like, I hated everything about that. It just felt so odd, especially because they propose Andrew's like a really smart guy, you know?
Yeah. He's like the most clear-headed amongst the group at this point.
He's not a child. He's not concussed, and he's a lawyer.
I thought that was so funny. It's just like the line, even. It's just like, yell if Leonard does anything weird.
Like he's
just
a dog
limping around the corner. Yeah.
Yeah.
If Leonard runs, let me know.
And that's the other thing. This is before Leonard has been shot. He is fully like. He is going up against, whoa, what the fuck happened? He's going up against, there is a little girl, so she's not going to be doing anything. Jonathan Groff, who has a concussion and his ankles were just bound, so his legs hurt. And also, Andrew, he's limping and he's been stabbed in the gut. All of you are hurt or cannot fight Dave Bautista. And you're just going to say, let me know if he does anything. It's just like he could just fucking rush your kid. Like, especially at this point, I get what they're trying to do. They're trying to show, like, oh, he's for sure not going to hurt them, right? That's why they feel safe because he can't kill them. But it's like, if you think these guys are fucking crazy, he might just change his mind and be like, oh, I've changed the rule. Like, it didn't feel realistic at all by, they tried to cover by Andrew saying, oh, I'm not a murderer like you, but it's like,
Yeah.
fuck, that situation will make me a murderer real quick, or at least a kneecapper. Just shoot him in the foot. That's all it takes. Cause at least he can't run on your family. Like that's all it takes, And I am glad though, he didn't bust through that window cause they locked Batista in this room and there's like a circular window behind him. And I'm like, fuck, they better not get hit, like let him break through that. Cause it is such a small window. I'm like, there's no way. And then when they go in the bathroom and the window's broken, I'm like, no, there's no fucking way. And he didn't. He just uses like a deterrent to like hide in the bathroom. But like for a minute, I'm like, they literally are trying to sell me that Batista snuck through this like dog door. And I was just like, he better not. He better be in this curtain. And luckily he was. So I'll give M. Night that. But I was the whole time just seething like, no way he made it through. Like he's a gargantuan guy, especially in this movie.
I feel like I was on the other side. I feel like I really wanted it to be true because that's just more fucked up. It's just like, how is that even possible? I feel like that would have been so much more
that speed of
interesting.
rate too.
Yeah, and then like he's outside somewhere, but you think he's inside. He's just fucking gonna run in like Sabrina did. Hopefully a little bit more effective. But yeah, so like I feel like up until that goofy portion, like the Apocalypse Horsemen. I almost said the Apocalypse members. The four horsemen. I found them very interesting. I mean, Leonard was definitely the most interesting throughout. But yeah, like when Adrian was doing her whole spiel about her son and just being a line cook and like just very like she seems like full of life. Like she seems not super like dour for the most part. Like she's super uplifting. And then Sabrina's obviously just, I mean, she's a nurse, so she's always like super caring for the members and all that stuff. But yeah, it just in that portion, it is unfortunate they kind of just I think just disregarded that just to get, I don't know, maybe a little bit more suspense before we get to our next sacrifice for the horseman member there. But yeah.
Well, let's take our probably last ad break. Then we'll be right back with the third act and some final thoughts. We'll be right back. And we're back. And yeah, so they Leonard gets the gun and he just goes through the whole thing again. And then more stuff starts to happen where they see the planes, and then Andrew takes like a shovel to the TV or one of those like maces or something like that to the TV so he can stop showing them this stuff. And I do want to go back because I did like, because Jonathan Groff's Eric, he keeps bringing up that he saw that person behind Batista, and I did like that in the movie they like showed you that. They just made it look like a bright light, but I imagine if you pause it, you see like some sort of like crazy figure or something like that, or maybe it's just light. But I liked that. So
that's what I was alluding to in this spoiler free section was like I feel like that is something that why I would rewatch this, because I'm like, did I see something there? Because like they really showcased light or something, and in that moment that's where I'm like, holy shit, this is gonna be like a supernatural movie or something. Like we're actually gonna see some sort of spirit or something. And it's so great that they didn't really spend a lot of time with that other than just showing that initial, because like as the viewer I was like, what is really going on here? Like are they just distorting things because we saw it through Eric's eyes in that moment, or is this again just more of a supernatural thing where like we're actually going to see some man in the light? And all of that like mystery aspect was really, really fun. And like I mean, I've seen the whole movie. I still feel like there's a little bit like unclear there where like maybe you could make the argument on like something like he really did see someone there, and you know there'll probably be theories around the interwebs or whatnot. But
they'll tie it to like, is this the aliens from Sixth Sense causing this? No, it's just a regular old M. Night movie. But yeah, and then at that point, they start to fall the airplanes, and then as they're starting to conversate, that's when it's just like it was like the hand of God or something will like pound down you, whatever it is. It's just lightning and setting everything on fire. And I get it, I guess. So they like send the little girl who good little actress, cute kid and stuff like that. She did
Mhm.
her job well for, I think she's probably young, like 6 or 7 or something like that, but great. Like, didn't feel like a bad kid actor. She was cute, especially in the scene when they're in the car, like singing and everything like that. Like, all very well done. I thought you bought them as a family, as a unit, so I liked that. Um, and I think it was smart too, because at the beginning I wasn't sure what they're going for. When I love the explanation of like, there's Derek Andrew and Derek Dad, or Derek, no, Dad Eric and Dad Andrew, because everyone just keeps at school. She talks about how, everyone just has one dad and everyone gets annoyed. So that's why I have the two separate names and stuff like that. And I like Batista because it's good for us, the viewers, too. When he learns that information, he takes a second to pause. And I like that because I feel like it's three ways of, one, he's worried that they're going to view him as just like, yeah, anti-gay people, which they do. And that's even for us as the viewer, though. It makes us wonder, is that it? Is it just because early on in the movie we get that flashback of Rupert Grint attacking him in the bar? Is it that the reveal? It is just people that are going to be anti-gay? Because they hit on that theme a lot in this movie, like through flashbacks and stuff like
Mhm.
that. Andrew's parents go to meet them in this super awkward. Like, I love the line of, they drove here for 7 hours, they're here for 45 minutes. It did not go well, like really good. Or like, oh, new fridge, hey, oh, yeah.
Gosh, longest 45 minutes of their lives.
Oh yeah, but so I liked all that, and then the other thing too, I wasn't sure if they're trying to make it in a way where these apocalypse people were worried that they couldn't like repopulate the world and stuff because they're two men and something like that. So that's why I liked in the beginning when it's like, oh, you have two dads. I didn't know what way to take, like Batista pausing on that. And I think it was just like a whole bunch of combo stuff. But my point was, they send the girl away in the middle of this, like the lightning storm's about to start. So I was like, oh, I don't know, that's a bold choice. I get it, because they're probably gonna kill someone. But yeah, Batista just lays it out, and I love how when he's about to die, he's like, "Oh, Andrew, Eric, my new friends. It's been a pleasure to get to know you." He's still just like kind of not jovial, but he's just like appreciative of them. He's trying to sell them, and then he slits his throat on a shot that they kind of sit on way too long of just Batista's chest. Like, I think there's a lot of well shot things in this movie. Just Batista's chest was not one of those. I get it because he cuts his throat and the blood comes down, but they just like zoom in on his pec for like 30 seconds, and then it's just like, just cut that out. Just get to 10. But and then they've both really start to, Eric's fully on board of like, no, I can really feel it, and Andrew's, he's like on board, but now he's just on board because there's just too many like facts against him now, and he's trying to say he wants to die, but no, Eric says he's willing to go and stuff like that. And then they take him out, and they have this nice little flash forward moment, like what life with Andrew and the daughter could look like. But if we don't do that, I'll take her away, and all this stuff, and the idea of, hey, like, we could just be living all, because they set up that rule that you three will survive. It's like, is that really a life we want to live, and stuff like that. So I think the acting of it's all good. And like I said, I didn't have, I think, as big as problem as once it got revealed that it's just gonna be the apocalypse stuff. I just wish that they held on to like even a little bit more, because I feel like once we got the planes was the tip off, like, okay, it's fully apocalypse now.
700 planes falling from the sky.
700 planes, yeah.
That's
and when he's like,
tough to
terrorist
deny.
attacks, like, what terrorist is taking out
Mr. Sinister or something. My gosh.
like, and that feels like that would be affecting like every country in the world, not just like and maybe not like. That's what would have been great in that newspaper thing, which I liked, or the news anchor, because Batista starts reciting what she's going to say, so proving he's had this vision. But like, I would have liked if the reporter literally said like, it's happening everywhere but this country, because then you would go like, oh fuck, like maybe it is a terrorist attack, because even if it's Canada, right? Which I love. They in that tsunami, they're like the first people to go down, British Columbia, Canada. I was like,
I know.
fuck.
Oh God, they're coming
not
for me.
us. But even in the news, if they would have been like the tsunami, when they're like, hey, people predict this might happen, if they're like, it's happening everywhere but Russia, you'd be like, well, fuck, then maybe it is a terrorist attack. But they didn't. They just said like 700 planes worldwide, it's going down. It's like, okay, well, nothing good has happened.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, something else that like, I feel like when I left the movie, I feel like I wasn't as positive as I was now after we talked about some of the flashback scenes and how they kind of tied things back together, especially with like the Redmond character. Because I feel like in the moment while the flashbacks were happening, I don't know, like we got the tie between the couple and Redmond, and then I thought maybe we're gonna be getting like more flashbacks of like them interacting with these other horsemen and like tying them together, like kind of how we were talking about already. Like if this isn't random, or they had visions that like maybe it is some ulterior motive, like if the Redman was like the anti-gay thing, and then like that it really is like a targeted attack on this family. But like the fact that we didn't get any like flashbacks with Leonard or anything like that, like it really much or very much was just the one character, which was Redman, tied to them. Like when I left the theater initially, I was like, those flashbacks were kind of like, I don't know. I feel like some of them were just like sprinkled in there randomly just to have a couple scenes with our other characters, and like I guess we get some moments like with them to like just show the connections that they've kind of had to go through and has made them
Yeah.
stronger. And
Show them in the
then
normal world too, where they're not like tied to a chair, like scared for their lives.
true, and like going through everything to like get their daughter. I guess in hindsight, like it does boost those characters more so, but just in the moment, I was really searching for like more clear answers for those flashbacks, because I think I was just looking for answers that weren't even there, because maybe I was just pinning a different ending altogether.
Yeah, because they try to like after that flashback, they try to say like, oh, all the reasons it would happen is like Sabrina might be a religious nut,
Yeah.
and Andrea is like, I think I can't remember what they say of like she's just impressionable or something like that, and like
Yeah.
obviously they didn't really find a reason for Batista though, because that was kind of like the reason, that was kind of
Just
the
a
whole
grade
thing.
two
That
teacher.
yeah, he
Yeah.
was like a normal, not a normal guy, but like they kept looking for something, and there were some things Andrew would try to pick at, but they never got too far and everything. But yeah, no, he's just a. Yeah, I like that line of like, oh, here's my boys team 3-8 and the girls team 5-6. Like, we're not really good, but like, I love every day at school. Like, he was very charming and stuff like that. Like, again, great job from like everybody, but specifically Batista, because I just feel like like a quieter, solemn, docile character can not always be the easiest to portray and make it interesting and stuff. And I think he did a very good job. And I think everybody, I don't think there was any bad acting too, like all around. I think everybody did a good job. Just obviously Batista is standouts for the most of them, but I think they all, that's the strongest stuff, is all their performance that it felt like in a realistic. I like the bathroom scene with Eric when the nurse is talking about, hey, like I would sound crazy too if I was in your position, and like I haven't been to church since I was 8 years old. Like they're all trying to pitch, but then Andrew's like, don't let them talk to you in that fucking bathroom ever again. So again, I think all my pros are more the first half, but acting all around from the beginning to the end, I think that was always a constant good thing. So
Yeah, I didn't love him reciting the news thing. I thought that was a little bit cheesy. He just like stands in front of the TV and just like the lips like sync together. It's like, okay, come on now. I get it. He knows what's happening. Come on.
see, in that moment, that's where I was starting to think like, Andrew, like, is this just a recording? Like, is this something fake that's why he does know? Because I was holding on like, that's my last thing, because I was like, planes, that's a big thing, you know, like, and that's where I was like, okay, is there still a chance that this is a hoax and he's just literally reciting because it's been recorded? But no, it was not. So did you catch M. Night's little cameo?
Yeah, he was on the air fryer.
Yeah, selling that chicken, man.
He stands out like a sore thumb. I feel like sometimes I can miss like a director appearance or something like that, but maybe it's just too memorable.
There's two I feel like you never miss. It's him and Tarantino, because Tarantino comes in. There's always like Leo and Uma Thurman and Brett, like these high caliber actors, and Tarantino just comes in and just fucking chews the scenery. It's like, you're not that good that you can do that, but you're a good director, so like we allow it. But like if that was not a director, we'd be like, who the fuck's this guy in this scene? Like he's like, you just see the same thing. They both stand at like sore thumbs, which is like the second they're in, it almost takes you out of it. I wish they sometimes would be in smaller roles in their movies, but this one would kind of work because it was comedy, and I also feel like that was there, but I feel like the flashbacks were also here just to break tension, because I'm not saying it wouldn't be a bad movie, but I imagine if you take the flashbacks out and it's just a pure home invasion movie for an hour and 20, you might be feeling like super tense. And at first they were trying to do that with Andrea with her jokes at the beginning. Those weren't really working for me. None of those jokes of just like it's a bunch of like, you wouldn't believe how I got here sort of deal or something like that. Or it's like, oh, I'm having real trouble with this door. It's like, all right, like you might see the sacrifice of a little girl here and we're joking about this door. I don't know. And I get it. It's trying to like break some tension, but it wasn't working for me. So
no, not at all. With last thing I want to say with Batista is like, yeah, he looks imposing. The guy's fucking massive, but like he speaks very, like you were saying, docile and just very calm and approachable, just very well spoken, very 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 grade 2 teacher like.
Yes.
And like
Because when he
I
tries to calm her, when she does the Thanksgiving thing where she just yells about the show, he's like, "Okay, let's walk this back. Let's take one step." Like
yeah.
he's trying to talk to her like a student. I really appreciated that. Like you can tell he had like his ideas or like tricks that he's used before, but clearly
Oh
because this
yeah.
girl's yelling on purpose, then none of it's working.
Yeah, exactly. And like I from early on in the movie, I kind of thought that, especially because he seemed like a little bit afraid of like the other ones approaching initially. Like it seemed like he just
Mhm.
wanted more time with Wen to just talk and just become friends or whatnot. I kind of just assumed that he was gonna be like out of the four, maybe the one that doesn't really get his hands dirty or whatnot. But when they like started the home invasion and he just like burst through the basement door, I was like, holy fuck! Okay, I know he's got a job to do and he's not gonna let these guys stop him. And
Mhm.
just like like the things that he was saying early on, it's just like like just tell your dads to let us in. It's gonna be so much better because we're gonna have to come in whether you let us whether you actually let us in or not. And I think just like I had seen the trailers, so like I kind of knew
They're
the
getting
spiel
in.
that they're
Yeah.
gonna pitch, but just in those moments, like it's just freaky the fact like you're laying out like all these doors are super glass,
Oh yeah, they're
like
putting couches
fragile,
in front of him. Like this doesn't matter. They just break the top. They like walk over your couch, and
and
stuff like
and
that.
and like when Wen was looking for her dad's initially, and they're just like outside. I thought one of them was just gonna get like a fucking axe to the head or something. like they're so vulnerable just
Oh yeah.
outside. Like the other ones are out there with their tools,
Well, and the shot
incoming.
I really like too is when is like going around closing all the windows in that last one, and you just see Batista like walk right by. Because I was
Yeah,
like, yeah, like they're not closing these fast enough. But no, that was all again. That was like nerve wracking the entire time, and well done and stuff like
yeah.
that.
I like the game too that Batista and when we're playing with like the flower, and then he asked her what her favorite movie is. She
Hmm.
shouted out Kiki's Delivery Service, which that's actually the first movie Shay and I ever watched together. So
Oh,
it's a
there we
great
go.
Studio Ghibli movie. And then when it
I
was her
wasn't sure if it was
turn,
a real movie or not.
oh okay, it's
When she
fantastic.
said that, yeah. And
It's
then they
very
had that
cute.
show on the TV. I was like, is that it? Is that the thing? And
Oh
then
yeah, no.
I like when he's like, I like this show. It looks like it's like gives you compassion, but you're learning things at the same time.
All the moments when he's like, "Sorry, Wayne, we're gonna have to put this on later," and he just like turns it off.
And it felt
Just
genuine
great
about
performance.
it.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, back to the flower game when it was Wen's turn, and like so he asked her what her favorite movie is, and what did she ask him? Why the fuck are you here?
Yeah.
No f bomb, but still, just like getting straight down to the real questions. I feel like that little girl was asking like the good questions
Hmm.
in those moments. She seemed like a real genuine person, so I
And
appreciated it.
his aunt's like, I don't know, I guess to become friends with you and your dads. Like, yeah.
Dodging the question, like that's not why you're here.
Yeah, true politician, yeah. And also in the open, I forgot to mention there's two shots where like one when they took out Rupert Grint the first time. They did this. I was happy they didn't do it all the time because I feel like I get sick, but I love when they like had a camera like follow whatever Batista's weapon was. Like he like cocked it,
Oh
put it down,
yeah.
and the camera like moved around with it. There's also this really cool, weird, and jarring, just very M Night shot where they must have put like the camera on Rupert Grint's back, and he was getting beat up, and like the camera's just showing like from the back of his head point of
Mm.
view what it would be like to be in a fight. But I think they were just like fun, different, weird shots that, like stood out in the invasion. Of like obviously already, I think it was going well, but just little things that you made you feel like a little off kilter of like, oh, this isn't right. Same thing when they killed Rupert Grint because that's the whole thing. It's like, okay, they're killing him now. It's not just you got to make a sacrifice. We're gonna stay. It's like no, we're literally gonna kill each other, and then one of us commits suicide if you don't do this. So again, the beginning stuff very well done.
It was so like unsettling too when he was like putting on his mask and he's like, I don't remember what he said. It's something just like
Like
he's
you fucking
terrified.
watch me or something like
Yeah,
that.
don't you dare look
Yeah.
away. And then he's just like totally freaking out, does his little Bible recital, whatever the hell it was, and then
Yeah.
yeah, just axe to the head. And I feel like part of again, like in that moment, I still didn't know what the whole situation was. I thought maybe they were still conning them, but like when I just saw blood coming down from his head after hearing the and he's just gone. I'm like, holy fuck, this is real here. Like this is
Mhm.
it's like I'm watching the menu and the first character just got shot.
Yeah.
It's like, holy fuck, okay, here we go.
Batista throws up right away after that and stuff,
Yeah.
and then that like he's always like, we gotta get him out of here. We can't let the family see this and
Yeah.
stuff like that. But yeah.
And
Anything
he just picks
else?
them up like a pillow. 'Cause he's
Oh, I
just
know,
so
like
huge.
nothing,
Yeah.
like they're just like dust or something.
Yeah, I don't think I have anything else.
What would you give this rating? Because I don't got anything else either.
Um, yeah, I think I'm gonna give this one a 7.5. I think I definitely grew a little bit more positive on it as we were talking about, especially like I said, like when I left the theater, the flashback scenes I just thought were throw-ins. Like I really didn't get too much out of them. And I think we like together we kind of pitched a better ending to this movie that I really think would have made it special and just very memorable because yeah, like at the end of the day, it's an apocalypse type situation where and like maybe I'm downplaying like the whole moral dilemma that they're kind of put in, right? Like it's you three will survive but the entire world like will not. It is it's a heavy question for sure, and
Yeah.
I feel like we definitely saw the characters kind of go through those moments of like really realizing the weight of what that is, because even Eric says that, right? Like or sorry, Andrew says like, we'll just walk the planet, the three of us, like as
Yeah.
long as we're happy. That isn't that great? And he's like, what type of life is that? Like think of the daughter, like our daughter. How is she gonna grow up in a world like that? So definitely, I should I guess just praise that a little bit more. But all in all, I definitely think I could have seen a better movie, and but again, that sounds a little bit harsher. So
Yeah.
7.5, I think is all right.
Yeah, I'm not too far. I'm an 8. I'm a little bit higher. I think coming into this, I was kind of like a 9, but then there's more things I thought about and talked about where it's like, okay, I could drop a little
The
bit more. Because,
gun
yeah,
sequence.
that, though that I already knew about. No, it was more about, like, I didn't really think about the ending as far as that. Like, I was taking it for what it was, but then when it was over, just kind of like, okay, that's fine. But that's the difference when you just watch me, then you immediately go and review it, right? Because it's not
Yeah.
like, oh, even when you got a couple hours, you're like, oh, I thought about this, thought about this. This is like literally live in air. I'm like, at first, like I still don't mind that they kind of at the beginning of the third act show their hand of like, hey, this is a real apocalyptic event. I guess I just wish that either they ended it in a way where it was ambiguous, or it like they held on to that reveal a bit longer. And those are the things I would want. So then if I'm just judging on what they did, that's where it's like, okay, they reveal in the third act and it just kind of happens, and it's like, it's not poorly executed. It's just kind of like, okay, like it doesn't, you feel like the ride's kind of over. Cause I feel like at that point, Eric's character so far, you believe, okay, he's going to convince him to kill him or vice versa. You never feel like the kid's going. You never feel at any
No.
point like, and I get that's what they're trying to maybe go for. Is like, oh, it's really dangerous kid there, but you never at once feel like they're gonna kill off this kid. So it's like it's one of them. So I think that's the thing where if I'm taking away the whole, okay, what would I want them to do? What they gave me and what they put on the screen was still well executed as far as like we said, like there's some visuals there, shots, and I like the diner scene when they go and they're watching the news and seeing everybody like get the good news. But it just kind of felt like I knew how the movie was gonna end, like at that
Yeah.
point, and there wasn't anything at that point that was really on the edge of my seat, which you go to the complete opposite of first act, where it's on my seat the whole time. So yeah, 8 out of 10. Like I said, I'll probably watch it again at some point, definitely them. And I wouldn't be, it's not a movie that I would be dying to watch again, but also if I was watching it, I'd be like, oh God, I gotta watch this again, because that's the good thing when you have a movie that at least performances are always good, because you can always kind of hang on to that. If it's bad acting and then the movie's just kind of fine, there's not much you can go there. So yeah. That's Knock at the Cabin. We'll see what Shyamalan cooks up next. He's always up to something. See what's going on. Like I said,
He's got us now. Every M Night movie, you and I are going to be
Oh
there.
yeah. One day we'll retro. Once we get through them all, there's some bangers in there. Sixth Sense, The Happening, of course. Oh God, what is Signs and stuff like that. Like an M Night retro, whenever we do it at some point in our careers, will be fun because there's a good mix of just absolute classics and like absolute, I won't say dog shit, but like pretty close too. Like that means Last Airbender. Like there's tons of stuff in there that is just like, oh, but then there's some of the best films ever. So
He
let
goes
us.
for it.
Oh yeah, he does. And that's why it's weird with this one. Like usually it's high extremes, right? But this one's a very, safe, solid movie and stuff
Yeah.
like that. So, but yeah, let us know whether you're watching this YouTube, the Discord, the Facebook, the Twitters, what you thought about it, your number rating, stuff like that. And yeah, the next review, I guess technically will be season 4 for TV and movies, but for the next week will be Ant-Man. So we'll be back for that. It'll not be boring.
Bye bye.